Hi, my name is Morgan Duval. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and today I would like to talk to you about the gluteus medius. Now, the gluteus medius is a muscle on the side of your hip, right about here. It connects from the iliac crest on the top of your pelvis to your femur, so it crosses over the hip joint. Now, its actions when you are not weight bearing on it, so right now we're looking at my left side, are abduction, taking the leg out to the side, and internal rotation, right? Rotating the hip in. When you are standing on your gluteus medius, or rather on the leg with the working gluteus medius, the gluteus medius is working to stabilize your hip and keep your pelvis from dropping, right? So in someone with a weak gluteus medius, we would see what we call Trendelenburg stance, which is a dropped hip. Now, this might not seem like a big deal. Basically, what's happening is this muscle can't contract and keep the hip from dropping with every step in weight bearing. Might not seem like a big deal, but it can actually have pretty dire consequences down the road, especially over time and especially with higher impact activities. For example, look at my hip right now. If I really drop the hip out, the force of my body weight is all being sent to my medial knee, right? You have a medial meniscus, you have an MCL, you have a lot of structures here on the medial knee, which over time, with repetitive force or potentially with very quick, fast, powerful force, can be significantly injured if not properly stabilized from the hip. Also, if you continue down to the ankle, you see how this stance kind of makes my foot turn in? We call this pronation, right? You have a lot of structures here on the inside of your ankle that can also be injured with repetitive stress or with a big, powerful, fast force, right? This can also lead to issues with plantar fasciitis. It can lead to issues with intrinsic foot strength, with foot mechanics. There's so many things that can go wrong, especially when you're participating in higher level activities such as running, jumping, and cutting. All right, so the gluteus medius is very, very important. So, how do you work the gluteus medius? If you Google gluteus medius exercises, you will find so many. There are so many options out there and so many great ways to really strengthen your glutes. However, today I want to talk to you about my top 3 exercises. These are not actually just my top 3. There has been research done, 2 studies, one in 2009 and one in 2011, both of which are cited in the description of this video, that actually looked at the maximum voluntary isometric contraction, that's MVIC, of the gluteus medius in various exercises. So basically what that means is how much potential of contraction are you getting of that muscle with various exercises. Obviously, if you're getting 100%, it's a great exercise for the muscle. The lower percentage down you go, the less impactful that particular exercise is for that specific muscle. So let's go through my top 3. And the first one is a single leg squat. I'm going to grab a chair to use. Now, the study that I talked about in 2009 looked at a single leg squat without much depth, right? They looked at a very shallow single leg squat. And they found that the shallow single leg squat led to about a 64% of that maximum voluntary isometric contraction of the gluteus medius on the standing leg. So pretty good, but could do better. That 2011 study that I talked about, well, they looked at a very deep squat where you're really hovering your butt right above a chair and then coming back up. And wow, I can already feel that quite a bit more. That's up to 82% of the MVIC. So the deeper you go in that single leg squat, the more you're really activating your gluteus medius. All right, so that's exercise number 1. The next exercise that I would like to talk about is side-lying hip abduction. So for this one, you're gonna have to get down on the ground, lie down on your side, and extend your legs outwards, okay? You'll lift your top leg up. Don't let it come out in front of you, because if you let it come out in front of you, you're not working your gluteus medius anymore, you're working your hip flexors. So you need that leg to be just in line with your body, if not a little bit behind your body. Now remember I said that the gluteus medius is a abductor and an internal rotator. So if you can internally rotate that top leg and point your toes down to the ground a little bit, you're really going to be maximizing your gluteus medius work here, okay? So side-lying hip abduction, up and down, up and down. Make sure that you're continuing to point your toes downwards and not letting that leg get out in front of you. It should be behind you a little bit. 81% MVIC here, so pretty good activation of that gluteus medius. If you want to really get crazy and fancy, you can do little circles, one direction, maybe the other direction. The study didn't look at this, but I think this probably ups it a little bit, little circles. All right, so that's your side lying hip abduction. Really great gluteus medius work. All right, the last exercise we will be looking at is a side plank with hip abduction. All right, so you'll stabilize with your forearm and lift your bottom hip up. The top leg is going to go up and down, up and down. So in this exercise, it's actually the bottom leg that's getting a higher MVIC of the gluteus medius contraction. So the bottom leg is getting 100% MVIC. And let me tell you, I can really feel it. The top leg is getting pretty good work too. It's about 88%. So it's even higher than the other two exercises. But it's really that bottom leg that's feeling the burn and getting full activation of the gluteus medius muscle. All right, so try to keep your hips up, lift that top leg up and down, and you'll really start to feel the burn, especially on that bottom leg. Okay, so those are my top 3 exercises for the gluteus medius, really shown by research that that 3 exercises, that grouping of exercises is going to get you the most bang for your buck in terms of gluteus medius strengthening. So how much do you do? The short answer to that is as many as you can do with perfect form and no symptom reproduction. So perfect form means like in that side lying hip abduction, right? You're not letting your leg externally rotate. You're keeping your toes pointed down and not letting the leg get too far in front of you. Okay? In the squat, for example, you're not dropping your butt down onto the chair. You're still able to hover and come back up. In the side lying hip abduction, or rather in the side plank hip abduction, you're keeping your hip lifted. You're not letting it sag down as you get tired, right? So really keep an eye on form and do as many of these as you can with perfect form. As soon as your form starts to suffer, that's your signal to at least take a break, if not stop for the day, okay? I usually aim for 3 to 5 days per week getting to these exercises in order to start to see a significant change in your higher level activities. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you will join me again for an advanced gluteus medius video coming up next. Thank you.